what's up, everybody? Before we get rolling with today's episode, let me remind you of Jane, our show sponsor. Jane is an all-in-one practice management software for small business owners, and our PT on Ice Daily show is a sponsor. Jane has made charting so much faster for us, and processing payments can be done online. So we're able to avoid that awkward post-treatment payment scramble by seamlessly charging patients' cards on file. All to say that reduced admin work means more time with our clients, which we love. Using Jane is a win-win for everyone. Whether you're a small business owner or a practitioner looking to start something new, you can learn more at jane.app/physicaltherapy. Don't forget to mention the PT on Ice Daily Show for a 1-month grace period at the time of sign up. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. Enjoy the show.
Hey, good late morning, everybody. It is Friday. It's Fitness Athlete Friday, and welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show. Glad to be joining you guys Instagram Live. I'm trying to kick things off on YouTube as well. Hopefully we get that fired up. It's quarterfinal season right now as well, so I just want to take this moment to say good luck to anyone watching this that has qualified for quarterfinals. Congratulations on all your hard fitness work over the years, as it's likely been that many years, to get you in the top 10% in the continent, to allow you to advance forward and compete in quarterfinals. So congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment, and best of luck taking on these higher skill, higher load workouts that are coming your way for quarterfinals this weekend. So hats off to all of you guys. Today's episode on Fitness Athlete Friday, just got done coaching some classes. I'm thinking back to our course that we just wrapped up in Orlando last weekend. Again, hats off to the outstanding clinicians down there in Orlando. It was a fantastic weekend, a lot of fitness forward-minded folks. But we had a really good dialogue, and I think, I like to try to bring some of those questions and conversations back to the live, or back to the podcast here, because I think it's a good format to kind of myself have more time to digest and think on it, but also B, to share that with the audience who wasn't able to make the live course, who wasn't able to be in there for that conversation. It's a key component to what makes that live course so unique and so beneficial, is that we get the opportunity to dive into specific questions. What are clinicians battling and dealing with, and what questions do they have? So, a question that was asked this weekend is, how can we better help the new grads coming out kind of get up to speed better with more of this fitness forward approach? Like, how do we, what do you suggest we do to help these students coming out, that this is brand new material, that they don't really understand loading to this degree, that they don't really have the understanding of how to push patients or drive intensity in the clinic or use remoms? What do you suggest we do as CIs for our students in the clinic? It's a great question. And one that you see a variety, obviously, of students coming out, whether that's various programs of level of knowledge that they have through their said program, or their certain backgrounds, right? Individual backgrounds that makes a student a little bit more suited and geared for that fitness forward approach, or one that doesn't necessarily have, that fitness forward background. So how do we help? What suggestions do you have to, I guess, speaking specifically to that student right now, to how do you become more fitness forward? How do you become, better prepared to step into a clinic that's operating kind of at the ICE model that we promote, which is, psychologically informed, manual therapy skilled, and fitness forward clinicians? How do we better prepare ourselves to step into a clinic like that? If that's a spot that you want to go treat, if you want to practice that way at the highest level of your license in a clinic where you're getting great outcomes, where you're super satisfied, where you're doing really good work all day long, you want to be in a clinic like that. How do you get fitness forward? How do you become that at a sooner, faster rate, rather? It's tough, right? Picking the right program has a lot to do with that, right? If you can go back in time, if you're someone who's watching this, who is not yet into PT school yet, but you have been following ICE Physio because one of the clinicians, or you follow the coursework, or whatever it is, they've got you connected with us. We're happy you're here, and you're not yet gone to PT school yet. Please know that picking the program will have a tremendous difference on how you emerge and how you come out as a student, right? Knowing the faculty, what is their mission? How are they directing the musculoskeletal stuff, the pain science information in their program? Like, all of that is going to factor into how you emerge after those 2 or 3 years as a student. So do your due diligence. And I'll just hat tip to the South College program, who a number of the faculty here with Ice Physio are also on faculty at South College. So I know them personally. Obviously, I've been trained from them personally. I've taken their coursework over the last 5 or 6 years, right? I know the kind of people they are, the kind of passion-driven individuals that they are as professionals. And I know the coursework that they're turning out. And we know the type of student that they're turning out as well. We know that they embody that fitness forward approach, right? Where you see all the South College students and faculty meeting at the CrossFit gym at 5:30 in the morning, getting in a workout where they do BERT every Friday. It's just a part of their DNA, right? Of walking this walk of this fitness forward lifestyle is a part of their DNA all the way through their grad program. So when they come out, this is not some new tide that needs to shift. This is not some uncommon, parallel that they need to jump onto. This is just part of what it is, of just making that decision every single day to be in that fitness forward environment, right? So do your due diligence when you're selecting a program. Now, when you're in a program, what else can you do? The biggest thing I have is you got to get first reps yourself of doing movement, and you need to get reps on watching other people do movement. So how can you better do that? So speaking to the student in the program now, what are you doing outside of the classroom to help you become more fitness forward? You got to join a gym somewhere. My biggest regret is that I continued to train on my own through grad school and that I wasn't involved in a CrossFit gym at that time. It wasn't until the end of towards the second to third year that I made my personal transition into the CrossFit space from doing more bodybuilding, powerlifting type stuff on my own, right? Headphones in my own world, right? But I would have much more benefited from being in that CrossFit space to be able to not only get pushed and encouraged, but to get coached from someone who's been in the sport, who's been in the industry a long time, who could say, hey, here's how to help your squat. Here's how to help your overhead squat, your press, your snatch, your clean. I could have benefited so much more from having actual coaching rather than trying to coach myself all them years, right? And not only that, getting those repetitions during grad school of my own movement, but also getting the repetitions of watching movement. When you're in a CrossFit gym, you're seeing movement happen all around you. Some great, some good, some ugly, right? So you're seeing a wide mix of things, and you can start to pick up on patterns and differentials and start to ask yourself that question of is that a thoracic spine thing? Is that a shoulder thing? Is that an ankle tightness? What happens to the overhead squat when the ankles don't move? What happens to the overhead squat when the lats are super tight? You can start to recognize those patterns. When we cert test clinicians at the end of the Fitness Athlete Live course, and we demonstrate a fault for them, it becomes very apparent that while they have memorized the slide deck where they know the points of performance and they know the faults that we've discussed, that they don't have the pattern recognition yet, that they haven't seen this fault enough times to be able to quickly pick up on it and diagnose and treat it. So being able to see more movement earlier, being able to put more eyes on movement and get that pattern recognition as a student, oh my gosh, as you come into clinical rotations, being able to pick up on that faster, being able to get on the right track quicker, not have to do so many screens and tests to get to where you need to go, the destination. Hey, this is an ankle problem. We need to get there as fast as possible. You can do that now having gotten repetition, seeing movement in the CrossFit space. So getting involved in as an athlete and as an observer in that space is really helpful. Can you then take it to another level, and can you put yourself in a position where you can become a coach during grad school? Can you go and spend a weekend as a student and go get your level 1, right? Go get your CrossFit level 1 as you're still a PT student. I know money's tight. I know that you're taking out debt already. Find a way to come up with $1,000 and go get the CrossFit level 1 cert as a student. And then figure out if you can help that local gym in town coach while you're a student. Your hours as a student don't mesh super well with finding a really solid job that you can knock down a bunch of cash or work a ton of hours. But they mesh super well with a gym space where you've got these odd hours where you can fill in. Maybe you've got a late start in the classroom on Thursdays and you can coach the morning classes that morning. Or you're out early on Tuesdays and you can swing by the gym, get your workout in, and then coach the evening class afterwards, right? Going and getting your level 1 and being a doctoral student in a grad program for physical therapy makes you a perfect asset to a CrossFit gym in town. That also might end up being a great partnership for you when you're done, but nonetheless becomes a great adjunct to your movement, your exposure as a coach, getting to work with athletes, getting to speak to professionals and other people in that class environment, are all those little nuanced soft skills that we don't necessarily have if we're just in the books, just in the classroom, and then boom, we get sent out on clinical rotations. When a student has that background, when they have the background as being a PTA first, a coach, an athletic trainer, when they've got that background of working and coaching and working with other humans and athletes, boy, they hit the ground running so much faster, and any CI can also attest to this. So students, can you go get your level 1? Can you get involved in a gym? And can you coach if you've already been involved as an athlete? That's a fantastic leg up on the competition when you're coming out. The last 2 things I got is trying to find a Con Ed weekends that fill in the gaps for you, and then figuring out how much practice you can get in. As a student, I don't know how many Con Ed weekends that I used Grad Plus money to pay for, driving to Chicago to hang out with people, driving to up north in Michigan to make it to Jeff Moore's course and trying to hear more about what he had to say about back pain and thrust manipulation, driving to Cincinnati, Ohio to watch Justin Dunaway do thrust manipulation all weekend long, like figuring out how to come up with the cash to get to a weekend, to learn the skills that you know you need work on to make you more proficient in the clinic. I need to get better at the neck. I need to get better at the low back. I need to get better at doing manipulations because grad school hasn't prepared me for that. Start accepting the responsibility and figuring out how you're going to make it to a Con Ed weekend to sharpen that sword. Figure out if the company has student discounts. Some of them do, some of them don't. Figuring out how you can save money. Can you travel with a friend, get an Airbnb? I think we did a hostel one time in Chicago because that was cheaper. Like figuring out how you can make it work to get to that weekend, to brush elbows with other professionals, to ask questions, and then take that stuff back to campus and practice the shit out of it. Right? You've got to do so many cervical manips after you leave that cervical course that you become so proficient with it that when that patient shows up with neck pain, that you're not worried about the skill set, that the psychomotor skill is actually there and on board and you're ready to deliver the goods, right? You've got to practice. It's been one of my favorite memories and it's still ongoing. It's still a theme for us at our ICE courses back when we were taking them as students, and now as faculty, we still get together with all of our friends. We're still doing manipulations at all hours of the evening and into the night, right? We're still trying to get proficient at these techniques, even as we're the ones teaching these techniques. I mean, we are diving into that at such a deep degree that you can't get enough practice on it. So as a student, if you pick up a technique, I regrettably did not take as much advantage of the lab hours that we had available to us on campus at U of M Flint, right? The labs were open. We could have went in there and practiced techniques. We could have went in there and got more repetitions. But as a student, you're just like, you know what? I'm tired. We've been in a classroom all day. Let's go home. Instead of being like, we got 20 minutes. Let's go grab a high-low and let's go work on lumbar manips for a little while. All those things, all those little nuances, getting to a Con Ed weekend, practicing more techniques at any available time you have, getting involved in a gym, moving more yourself, getting repetitions, and then watching other people move more, and then seeing if you can get your level 1 and becoming a coach, an assistant coach, whatever you can do as a student in that CrossFit space is going to make you the absolute best fitness forward, psychologically informed, manual therapy skilled student you can be when you go hit clinicals, so that your CI has got a ninja on their hands, right? They've got a weapon that they can really sharpen for the next 10 weeks rather than trying to spend time bringing you up to speed. This was definitely geared towards the folks that are following and that are in a program right now. I know there's many of you. I hope this is helpful. I hope this motivates you to try to make a couple steps in that direction if that's your long-term goal, to kind of be that fitness forward clinician that we're looking for across the country. Guys, I hope you have a great Friday. You can catch us out on the road. We've got some fitness athlete courses coming up the next 2 months. We've got Ohio in April. We've got Greenville, South Carolina in May. And then we've got the sampler in by God, if you've never been to a sampler, that is a fun weekend, start to finish. We've got some cool things on the agenda. We've got a lot of fantastic faculty that are going to pass the mic. So come on down to CrossFit Hendersonville. Join us for the sampler down there just outside of Nashville. It's going to be a great weekend. You can find all of that right on the website, ice.physio, and grab your ticket to the sampler before it's too late. Guys, thank you for joining me on this PT on Ice this morning. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the road soon. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.